Hi, today is the third day of data science tutorial. Here I'm going to focus more on algorithms and some of the relevant tools required for data science. So if you want to become a data scientist or data analysts, the minimum criteria what you need to know or be aware are here, which I am going to discuss and present. So first thing, as I was saying in the previous talk, you need to have basic idea of coding. For example, here it is showing R programming, Python, coding, Hadoop, SQL, SAS. So instead of R, Python, you can also select some alternate coding such as MATLAB, or maybe Perl, or maybe C, C++. So it's all up to you what is easy for you to understand. So this is the first step, that is the basic knowledge of coding in any programming language. And for example, here I am presenting a book that is called Data Science from Scratch. This is mainly available for Python coding. And you can select any of the coding language. So it is very clear you need to have fluency in coding for any logical implementation. Now, Hadoop is like a kind of open source application which allows you to store and process big data. But when you know the coding, you don't need to have any kind of inbuilt software or package for data handling. Of course, for storage you need, but to handle the data, if you are familiar about any coding, you can easily handle the data, analyze the data. SQL is for database management. Thanks. Then it is SAS, which is a famous and most common software in most of the industries and academia, which is kind of a statistical package. And this has all the options where you don't need to go for any coding. You just need to select the options, what kind of statistical options you want to continue. Then it is Apache, and then some visualizations like D3.js, JavaScript. But for visualization also, there are multiple sources, the way of to visualize. So these are some of the things which you need to know. And then it comes some during application, what are the main application and how it is being handled. For example, risk and fraud detection. When you are hearing about cybercrime, that is risk and fraud detection, then how could you proceed? For example, here you can see customer, account, device or entity, location, transactional data. So transaction data. So this is kind of input parameters you need. And then you have big data collected from these sources, and then you go for implementing some kind of machine learning approach or model. And then continue risk scoring and final fraud investigation, dashboards, and reports. So this is one of the application. Then it comes to health application, healthcare application. Most of the healthcare companies are medical image analysis, content-based medical image index, wavelet analysis, machine learning models to detect tumor, organ failure, and other procedures and frameworks. These processes make it easier to analyze and find the parameters or points to improve the diagnosis. For example, here, descriptive analysis in medical healthcare is one of them, then predictive analysis, then prescriptive analysis, then discovery analysis. So in descriptive analysis, understanding history, or historical trends of the patient, predictive to forecast the future, then prescriptive to unearth new strategies and discovering the analysis that is determine what to explore next. Now it comes to genetics and genomics application. Then here you could see the figures: whole genome sequencing, exome sequencing, RNA sequencing, gypsic methylation, ataxic drug resistance, genome, genetic diversities, tumor intra-tumor heterogeneity, many more things you can unravel. And for this, I have shown a large number of applications in bioinformatics lecture series. So this is quite obvious, all those people who are working as a researcher, master's or bachelor students in the projects related to healthcare or biological sciences. Then it comes drug development, which is vast field and it has big demand. Then here, accelerated drug development. Find new drug targets, predict drug safety and efficacy diagnostic tools for enhanced disease definition, identify high-risk patients, improve clinical trial design, access external data sets. These are some of the summarized applications. Then now another application is internet search, that is called the Internet of Things or IoT, Internet of Things. How it could work? Then it is like website recommendation. For example, somebody is searching in YouTube what kind of videos or movies they are interested, they immediately you could see this suggested movies list or videos or short feed lists. Then it is advanced image recognition. There are a number of places where image processing is required. And then it is virtual assistance. What tasks can a data scientist or analysis virtual assistant do? Data entry, data management and storage, text analytics, data processing, data reporting, and more. So next part is speech recognition. How it works, what, for example, in Siri or Google Voice recording, how you are doing, how to proceed with, instead of typing the text, you can do with your voice recognition or speech recognition. Then planning routes for aeroplanes, gaming, augmented reality. There are a number of applications which you can perform. And in augmented real gaming and augmented reality, like for example, augmented reality gaming, most of you are familiar. Augmented reality is a kind of technology that allows digital images and information to be displayed onto the physical environment. For example, if you are saying to some website to go for logo design for your selected business or some other purposes, they immediately generate it. And out of suggested images, you select one of the image or two of the images. That is the part of augmented reality. So here the input forms could take voice, touch, textual, lasers, then mouse, and many more purpose. Output could be 3D, 2D, textual, arrows, manuals. So now it comes algorithms and statistics. Here you need to be very serious. What are the algorithms used in general for data handling and processing? This is very, very important. So, for example, you just need to know, you need to implement or know machine learning algorithms. And these algorithms are two types: supervised and unsupervised learning. So, in supervised learning, one part is classification, another is regression. While in unsupervised learning, it is purely clustering or grouping based on some similar properties. In classification in supervised learning, you support vector machines, discriminant analysis, naive-wise, near-wise, like nearest neighbor, neural networks, ANN, artificial neural networks, regression analysis, that is linear regression, SVR, GPR, ensemble methods, decision trees, neural networks. In clustering, k-means clustering, fuzzy, C means clustering, hierarchical clustering, Gaussian mixture, hidden Markov model, HMM, and again neural networks could be used. So these are some of the things in algorithm. Now, what are these naive bias classification? This classifier is, for example, optimal naive bias, Gaussian naive bias, multinomial naive bias, Bernoulli naive bias. And how it could work is file reading, partitioning, then some learning part, then predictor, and finally score it for selection purpose. What are the things you need in order to execute or implement this algorithm? Likelihood, prior, posterior, marginal. Likelihood, from the name itself, it appears how probable is the evidence given that our hypothesis is right or wrong. Then prior, how probable was our hypothesis before observing the evidence? Posterior, how probable is our hypothesis given the observed evidence? Then marginal, how probable is the new evidence under all possible hypotheses? Now I'm just showing how this classifier could work. Classifier 1, 2, and 3. These colors are representing different classes or groups. And that is how classifier works. And there are definitely some kind of mathematical formulations which will help you to classify the data. Now, linear regression. From the name, you don't need to confuse yourself. If you want to know the definition, it's completely stupidity. Instead of knowing or memorizing the definition, try to learn the figure presentation. Linear regression. So something has to do with a kind of line, a straight line. So you have discrete data, unorganized data. How does it fit with a linear line in any direction? So if you want to know the definition in terms of text, it is a statistical method used in finance, investing, and other areas that attempts to determine the strength and character of the relationship between one independent variable and another dependent variable. And that is what you are seeing here, independent variable and dependent variable. Then this is a line which is trying to fit these data, that is data points. And this is called linear regression, and this is called line of regression. There are some different ways of fitting the lines. This will depend on the mathematical equation and how the variables are changing. So the same thing you can see here. If you are implementing some machine learning algorithm, then it could be one of the way to present it. So this is very simple to understand linear regression. And it is not, do not be afraid from mathematical equation. You can use as simple equation as you want. It always depends on you, how much simplification capacity you have it for mathematical equations. Next class will be on data science, which I will be continuing. But there are one information. There will be some application part also in data analysis science tutorial. That is kind of case study how to implement it. So please do not be confused that I'm just teaching the theory. Of course, I will be also showing some codings, how to proceed with coding and how to implement the algorithm for data science work. So in such a way, you will be completing yourself for joining the data science work. And there are multiple ways of or multiple options to work in the field of data science. So do not be afraid that I'm going to leave somewhere something. Of course, I'm teaching several subjects online on YouTube channel. So you need to subscribe. And for in different subjects, I'm uploading the videos every day in one subject. So it is not necessary that regularly I will be uploading in data science or in biology or in bioinformatics or in some other subjects. So please subscribe it. By the way, there are some questions which the people are asking. Is it enough to join the job? In data science, yes, this is enough to join if you have passed intermediate level or even class 10 level with real class 10 level mathematics knowledge. Definitely you can start to look for data science job. So this is really sufficient. Of course, if you want to wait to learn more, then you can also either learn from my YouTube channel or read some of the books so that you can easily and immediately start the job. Second question, which I have seen in the comments, are certification. We do not offer any kind of certification for YouTube tutorial, but of course, there are some people who are frequently joining my classes online via Zoom meeting, and there we have some kind of attendance and monitoring about the progress and case studies, homeworks, everything. There we offer these certificates and that is paid, but there is no need to go for paid certification or something else. Here I am offering free of cost all the tutorials on YouTube. So if you are just looking for knowledge, real knowledge, that is sufficient here. Certifications are definitely paid. So it's all up to you. Thank you very much and looking for next classes.